Welcome to the Political Pour Up Podcast.
Grab a drink, pull up a chair. Grab a drink. This is the Political Pour Up. Because we're going to need a drink for this.
Hello, and welcome to the Political Pour Up Podcast. I'm Sue.
I'm Jazz.
And I'm Jen.
And we are three friends who love to enjoy a nice cocktail or a glass of wine this week while we talk about the news of the day. We can talk about politics.
Yes. We always need something to unwind with.
How are we feeling this week?
Tired.
It's summertime.
Yeah, I'm ready to wrap this shit up. I'm ready for fall.
It's hot. It's
I'm
been
not-
hot. It's
I
not
just
getting
came back from Georgia. Ain't no hot
hot
like that
Georgia.
hot.
I came back
I'm about to
from-
go to South Carolina. No, it's hot.
I guess I'm the
No,
only
it's hot.
person that hadn't gone as south recently because I did go to Puerto Rico since the last time we
That
talked.
don't count.
A
Right.
little further.
You're
south.
close to water.
Listen, I will tell you this, what I learned about Puerto Rico. Thank the Lord for no humidity. I don't know where
Yeah.
it's placed and what.
Ooh.
Yes. I wore my hair straight. As a natural hair girly, I wore my hair straight
A lot of
until the
Caribbean
last
doesn't
night,
have-
just because I was like, "Ooh, I feel like it's some sand up near my hairline, maybe
Let me
from the
go ahead
wind."
and
I
get
said,
it.
"Let me wash it," and I just wanted to scrub my scalp. But other than that, I was fine. But most recently, I did go north, and I went to Pennsylvania in the mountains. It was a good time. I will say I'm glad I was out of D.C. because I saw that up in Silver Spring and
Oh my
Northwest,
God.
it looked like a river, and I was like,
Yep.
"Lord, please don't let the cars have drowned."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank the Lord it cleared out.
I mean, the weather has been challenging for everyone across
Yeah.
the country. It's just been like torrential rains, tornadoes. I don't even think we've had a named hurricane yet. At least that's hit land. They might have had. I haven't heard about a hurricane.
Can't
yet.
think of a name that I've heard yet.
And That's
So-
coming.
No.
It's hurricane
Right.
season.
I think it may almost be upon us because
Yeah.
I saw an article earlier today, maybe yesterday, about like a Carnival cruise line that was going from
Oh shit! I just booked a cruise.
but it was going from like New Jersey, New York to like Bermuda, Bahamas, something like that.
Mhm.
But the damn Carnival cruise line had to turn around not too long after it took off because it got into very choppy waters from the line of a hurricane. And when I tell you, I don't even understand why there were people still on decks at the time at which it was going through these extremely choppy waters and water was splashing up. I mean, you know how big the daggone cruise ship is. That's like the Empire State Building on its side.
Yeah.
So it's
They're
the
enormous.
width across, or the height technically of it, is probably at least
should've-
like 5-6 stories. And that water was going up to like the top deck. It was like stuff
Oh
was
my
crashing
God.
down on the side deck. Like water was hitting up against
And
them.
there
It
were
was
still people out on the deck.
They were all on the cruise. They had to turn it around. I was like,
I would think
I
that there
would
was
not
some
have been on the
safety
cruise. I would have thought I
protocol
would have been in the water, just
that-
tossed up like a Tupac song. I would have never. I personally have only been on like day cruises, like little dinner cruise stuff
Oh,
like
you've
that.
never been on an actual?
No,
like a
because
cruise
I don't like
cruise?
the idea. I don't like the idea of being stuck on a boat.
Yeah,
It makes
with
me feel
thousands
slightly.
of people.
Yeah, that also makes me feel even more claustrophobic, even though I know it's a
Yeah.
large boat. But I personally
And
like.
you get,
I like to relax.
there's a high cases of neurovirus, which that also happened.
Yeah,
at,
no.
Royal
I just-
Caribbean.
Yep.
I just like
recently.
to get places, relax. If I want to do excursions or
Same.
experience, and I also like to be able to like experience the places that I'm going to.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times with cruises, like most of the time, if you're going to multiple ports, you get like a couple of hours
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
kind of go out. And I'm like, I like to spend more time so I can actually go out and see.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if I don't
But it's
end
a
up
good-
making it
it's a
anywhere
good
because I've
way
been chilling,
to-
that's different.
It's a good way to explore a lot of different places. Like I want to do a Mediterranean cruise eventually because you can hit a lot of different places in Europe.
Let's get together and get a yacht, and then we can just tell them where to stop and how long. It's probably the
Yeah,
same
I
amount.
mean-
We can get one of them Croatia yacht week cruises. We can go around. I'm trying to tell you, I know some people. Let's get
No,
on
we
it.
can, but I'm just saying,
Same
if
price.
you don't have that option, a cruise is
Chef.
a good alternative. Everybody don't have a yacht or a connection. Also, it's
what
good
the internet is
families
for.
too.
I'm good
With
on
families,
cruises.
because free childcare.
On the cruises?
Yes,
Well, depending on where you book.
I'd be
Where you
weird.
go, they have
I-
childcare.
it should be, but a Royal Caribbean, Disney, that's all I know because those are the only two I was looking at. I'm sure Carnival does.
Hope they don't catch the nerve virus. Like, let's cut that
I
out.
mean, We all
I'm just
caught
making fun.
norovirus either at Disney World or when he got back to school. So
Oh,
it happened all around that time.
damn.
So I'm not looking forward to that. I said I was
it's
looking
just a
forward to
stomach
the
virus.
fall, but now I'm
Yeah, I prefer not to have a stomach virus. I have an adverse reaction to those because I don't like to be
don't
sick.
have a kid and put them in school with
I was
other
gonna
children.
say you just reminded me of the like every 5-day new
Listen,
virus
don't forget.
cycle.
I'm okay with kids. I've even been around some of our friends' children when they have been sick as hell. Yours included. It's fine.
I was like, sorry.
It's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I understand kids carry germs and sometimes they spread them. I don't want to be trapped
Oftentimes
on a moving island in the ocean with a whole bunch of sick people for nowhere but to go.
I think they have a quarantine area. Hopefully they have like an area.
Unless it happens like it happened with that last boat where all the power went out. And
Okay,
all that
but that was God.
they got a whole Netflix special. I think
know,
it's on Netflix. I saw it. I saw
the preview. I ain't watched it. I'm not watching it before I go on the cruise.
Yeah, you shouldn't. I watched it because I don't have any intentions on. I'm like, I see you. I see you.
But yeah. Oh, how was ATL, Jen?
it was lovely, actually.
Besides hot,
It was very hot, but besides that, it was good. You know,
I love Atlanta.
Spent some time with my husband's friends who are from this area and now live in Decatur.
Where's Greater?
That I you know.
So they say.
I couldn't wait to say that when I was
agree.
there. I called one of my old roommates, and I was like, she's like, "Where are you staying?" I was like, "Decatur is greater."
I used to get my eyebrows
I've
done
been
there.
waiting to say that. Also, I didn't realize just because it's so interesting because one of their wives went to Georgia State. Mm-hmm. And it's just so interesting when we talk about like where they hung out versus where we hung out, and they very much hung out on like the east side, like either downtown or east. She was very familiar with a lot of
like Graveyard Tavern.
Yeah, I was about to say that's because you know what? That's how
I used to go there.
I don't think I went to the Graveyard when we were in school.
I did. Back when they were serving up 40 ounces.
They were still serving 40s
I was like,
when we went.
I was like, I don't know these places. I was like, it was either
like Moreland, like off of Moreland.
Yeah,
off of Moreland.
I was like, girl, me personally, primarily stayed in the vicinity, downtown, what's now Midtown West or Southwest Atlanta. I was like, we very much were.
We ain't partying
off of
Southwest.
Who did?
We did.
I used to go to the Marquette for Thursday.
And then freshman year, what was that spot? I remember
and the Pool Palace,
20
and Club Crucial.
I was like,
and a few other places I had gone.
We very much was partying in Southwest Atlanta. Very much. I did pass one beloved East Side gym that I did venture to time to time. Mama's Prime Time.
Oh, I know Prime Time.
Oh yeah, that's a real
I remember Prime Time. That was a fun club.
Yes.
That was a very ATL experience.
I mean, you might as well.
I don't think I went there.
The building and the
after
sign and everything are still there.
You know where I never went?
In operation?
No.
Where I never went was Central
I passed
Station.
it. I was like, oh.
Oh, Central Station. I
don't
went
think I went to
after.
Central Station.
It was very ratchet.
I went after we graduated.
There was
I think
a lot
I
of
went in like
questionable things
2010.
happening at the Central Station. It was also in East Point.
Good
I mean,
times.
it sounded like everybody was like, "It's lit, it's fun." And I was like,
Yeah.
But some of the things you guys are describing to me that you were witnessing while there don't seem like fun to me.
It was huge too. I had like pool tables and shit in there.
Honestly,
and it was also a club.
Mama's Prime Time was big too. Like they would have whole wet t-shirt concerts in the middle of the club.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I've never seen this before.
What's the name of that place that we went to one time? Honestly, when you talk about Mama's Prime Time, I was like, that made me think of like Onyx and somewhere else where you walk in, you're like, this is a lot of space.
Yeah.
It's just a
Onyx
lot of
was
space. Huge.
I
Like
cannot
most of their
picture what
well-to-do
Onyx
strip
looks
clubs were a fucking gymnasium with like old brown old burgundy carpet.
Yeah.
It wasn't gymnasium-ish as it looked like old and like it didn't look like a gym. It was big as hell, and when you walked in,
you're talking about Onyx, the strip club.
Yeah.
With the little
what
top.
other Onyx did you know about?
Maybe I'm thinking about a different city, but yes, over there, like right down the street where Taco Cabana used to be,
correct.
with the little,
Around
with the
the
little
corner.
tower that used to be out in the front.
And
I don't know.
and my personal
mind was not
favorite.
going to strip club because it was across the street from another club.
It's across the street from a strip mall for sure, but it's around the corner from Platinum 21, which is Kamal's 21. It literally
yes
around the corner.
Another strip club, though.
Yeah, both of them were up the street from me.
No, there's across the
Across
street
from the
was
Wendy's.
another club, a regular club, non-strip.
I don't remember that, but what I do remember is that if you rolled up there, even if you weren't at the club, across the street, they would have a grill guy that would come out and set up like the whole smoker. Like late at night, he would set it up by like midnight.
Yeah,
so the time
food.
Oh my God, we went there one time.
The Goldfish Burger man used to be
Oh,
outside
I love
the hole in the wall.
I loved him. But this guy, he was smoking like chicken, like ribs. I got a whole meal with like, I had mac and cheese, I had greens, I had something else. I was like, you know what? I'll come back here
right here
just for the food afterward.
Right.
Yeah.
Just for the food.
Right.
There were times that I went to Peachtree Tavern, a hole in the wall,
just to get that,
just to get
the
goldfish burger. At the end of the day.
You know what? I made burgers last night. I might mess around and run back to
grab some goldfish.
Yeah. But no, it was great. It was great.
Fun times.
Anytime we talk about Atlanta, we get nostalgic.
Getting into these headlines from this week.
Getting into these headlines.
So, not even 2 weeks after Congress passed the big bunch of bullshit bill, we had them come back and vote on another bill, a rescission bill, that stripped away funding that had already been allocated from the budget that they passed last year. Very significant cuts to foreign humanitarian aid in the sum of $8 billion that had already been allocated to build relationships with other countries that are not all just military dominance. Like, you go over there and you help the people in hopes that it builds a stronger relationship. You give them food, you give them medicine, the things that they need to build stable societies or to rebuild after having tragic situations like war and things like that. And $8 billion of that was stripped away from the budget that Congress passed just last year.
Grifters be grifting.
Exactly. And for what? Because we just passed a bill and found all of the funding for ICE that we
you mean the one that's
to allocate in the big beautiful bill.
The one that's larger than most countries
right, so it's just like what
most
more
countries
do you need? Like,
military budgets. What
is the justification?
I will tell you what I think. And this could not be the very well justification, but in my mind, it just seems odd that they came in, they laid off all these people who had expertise in their fields, disrupted a lot of other industries that they weren't directly tied to be able to make decisions, especially in terms of federal workers. And now we're at one of our highest points of unemployment, at least like in areas where federal workers are like the highest amount of workers. And they're like, hey, Floridians, we know we couldn't pay you anymore to do anything, literally anything, not teach the kids, not take care of people. We couldn't pay you more for anything.
But
we
here's
will
a
give
six-figure
salary plus a signing bonus.
Plus a signing
in order
bonus.
to be an ICE agent. So to me, what it does seem like is that they have purposely gone out of their way to disenfranchise people and to have them no longer have the stability of their careers. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, and cutting all these other programs that impact people who might not have even been employed but were American citizens, like relying on like social services, they're now cutting those, and they're like, oh, okay, well, if you want to make money,
need a job, here's one.
Well, or I'm sorry, you lost your Medicaid, you can go work in the fields.
So in addition to the foreign humanitarian aid that came out of the rescission bill, they also stripped $1 billion of funding from NPR, National Public Radio, which funds a public broadcasting service, which is known as PBS, which a lot of people get their unbiased news from, unbiased podcasts, unbiased and very enlightening educational children's programming from,
or just weather alerts
for it.
Exactly.
Or just weather alerts
and
right.
Or just things to let you know that's happening in your
in
last
your neck of the
town,
woods.
in your little town. If you're in a rural or a remote area, technically it's a little town, and sometimes there's not major networks there. And the irony, I don't even know if they finished finding all the people from Texas that are missing. But to then go and be like, you know what? The things that could have helped these people a little better had we not
Let's just.
I mean, it makes no sense to me. The National Weather Service can only say hey, we see this coming. Mm-hmm. If the local authorities don't get on top of that and put out the alarms, most of which that also work in conjunction with public broadcasts, this shit's not going to get to people in remote and rural areas.
And that's what really irritates me most about the conservative view of not just the economy but government in general, small government, because we all rely on certain services and benefits for the government to provide that only the government could provide. You can't create privatized roads that the public uses. There are certain things that government should provide in a society that is supposed to work well. And you have a capitalist economic system in a democracy. There are certain benefits, welfare, Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security being some of those benefits, in addition to infrastructure funding. National Public Radio, a broadcasting service that is unbiased and is just trying to give people the facts and teach kids their ABCs. There are certain fundamental things, and the conservative purview is to just look at the government as you're giving too much to everybody. But you cannot replicate those things in a small government situation. Who fills in that gap? Who fills in the gap for the sirens not working because they were defunded, or National Public Radio not reaching rural areas? They're going to see a return on their investment. There is no return on an investment when you're building roads for the public or helping kids learn to read. That is the return on investment, is a prosperous society. And they don't see it like that. So our commander-in-chief has decided that the Republicans might be in a little trouble when it comes to the midterms next year. So he has a plan, a foolproof plan to find 5 additional seats in Texas.
Foolishness.
In Congress by gerrymandering the districts that mostly Democrats hold around, what is it, the Houston area?
Yeah, I think so. It now looks like a kaleidoscope. If you've seen the new thing,
I'm so
it go like a little twister, it goes out for the middle, spin around.
And gerrymandering is
downright despicable.
But I was going to say the least.
But what is it very unfortunate about it, the way that Trump posed it to the Texas legislature, was to find an additional 5 seats for Republicans, which is technically not
legal.
No, it's not within the Supreme Court's purview to rule unconstitutional. It's illegal to draw it based on race. It is a political question as to whether you can draw it based on party affiliation. And the Supreme Court is not allowed to weigh in on political questions. And so
they not allowed to lay in on a lot of shit that they don't feel like until now. They be like, well, we can decide all the things.
Yeah, they just do whatever the fuck they want now, which, I mean, that's not new. They've been doing that for... Now it seems a little bit more, because some of the cases are just a little bit more extreme.
They're just giving an F you to your face now. They don't have to hide it.
So that's what's going on in Texas. The legislature has to go through a process where they redraw the maps. They still have to conform to, what congressional districts, the stipulations that they have to be, proportional in population size, but the Democrats are stepping up and being like, well, you know what? Right. We've got a couple blue states that
finally
just have...
We can play this game too.
Yes.
Beat them at their own damn game.
Our states are more populous. I don't know if they're bigger in terms of land mass, but they're definitely more populous.
Hell yeah, Gavin, take them all.
Yeah. I think they're more popular in terms of tax dollars.
I mean, definitely, but population size, which is what congressional
population means a lot.
on.
But as big as Texas is, and as large as population,
they
still don't pay enough to make up their deficit.
There are opportunities for Democrats to can play that game,
right?
As we shall say, what they're trying to do in Texas, and I guess at this point we'll see who wins. It's like
we'll see who wins.
You might if you think that you're doing so many things right, if everybody is on your side, you've been given a mandate by the voters.
You wouldn't have to do all this shit. You wouldn't have to do all of this.
Okay,
what's going on at the Fed?
Well, apparently Trump has been trying to intimidate the hell out of Jerome Powell, who has just finally had enough of it.
And who is Jerome Powell?
The head of the Fed.
And just to clarify, who nominated him for the chair of the Federal Reserve? Federal Reserve. They pretty much set the interest rate.
Well, the irony is that what we have witnessed in the last week and a half is that I think Jerome Powell has finally had his level of fuck it, where he's reached it, where they're asking him about if the interest rates are going to be lowered. They're having a bunch of press conferences questioning him about a bunch of stuff, including the remodeling of the building that I believe the Trump administration also signed off for in their last administration. And I think Trump tried to say, I don't know what he's doing over there. There's this high renovation. Maybe he's trying to turn it into his palace. And I was like, I don't think that our president...
Only you do things like that.
I don't think our president understands that the Fed chair does not live at the Federal Reserve, and that is not...
At the office.
That's not where he resides. It might be where the money resides, but that is not where he resides. So there was... I have to link the article. And they were talking about how Jerome Powell literally was on record having a press conference saying that if it weren't for the fluctuation and all the stuff with the tariffs and the uncertainty, which makes the market uncertain, we would have liked to have reduced things back in February.
Exactly.
But because of all this turmoil and uncertainty, we really can't make any predictions, and it would be also irresponsible to make those predictions, knowing that we
have an erratic.
That there is no
stability,
or mellow ground or anything during the times. There's nothing. He would have loved to have brought them down, but his sole reasoning,
if not for Trump,
was if not for Trump and his erratic tariff policies, we would have brought these down. But it would be irresponsible to do that as of now. And the Fed is also supposed to operate completely independent of the executive branch or judicial branch. Otherwise,
meaning that you can't tell him what to do.
Exactly.
I mean,
he is not only is he just an orange menace, he's also a bully.
Here he is.
An ignorant bully.
Yeah, and
which most bullies are.
Yeah, so you take them to a back alley and beat their ass.
Exactly.
Some people end up being punched in the mouth. But I will say that had they paid attention, they would know that the way in which the powers were separated makes it so that it doesn't compromise our standing on the world stage. So if the Fed chair starts just doing whatever the president says, I mean, I don't know if most people have paid attention, but the U.S. dollar has already declined 10% so far in the last 6 months. And I think at this point, Jerome Powell seems to be most people who deal in finances are pretty stagnant about their personalities. And he was just no. They had a press conference where they asked him, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about Trump? How do you feel about all these things? And he was like, no.
Can he fire you?
And they were like, can Trump fire you? Or are you concerned about Trump firing you? And he was like, nope. And they were like, why aren't you concerned? And he's like, what was his words? It's not
allowed,
not possible under the law. Well, and he's like, not possible under the law. And somebody else decided to follow that up. And he was like, nope, not possible under the law.
I know that's right.
So I will say, chef's kiss to him for going ahead and telling him to kiss his ass.
Yeah. And he happens to be conservative. Like Jerome, like all of these people are.
He
like,
wouldn't have got appointed if he wasn't.
Exactly. By the conservative president in,
Quote,
I think it was
unquote.
2017. Yeah, they're rhinos at this point. They're Republicans in name only. Like, I'm the only.
That must be the whole
MAGA's
party.
the only Republican. And I've been thinking about this for a long time. It's like, at what point are the actual conservative-minded lawmakers going to be like, enough?
That part.
There are still some that are on full MAGA, but you see that this does not align with anything that you have stood on for your entire political life. I mean, even Ted Cruz is one of those people. I hate
Ted
to
Cruz hasn't stood on anything his entire life. Let's just start there.
Yes, but
Never.
for someone who, or Rick Scott, or, you know, most of the senators and the body of the Congress that's supposed to be the more...
Rick Scott ain't stood on none either.
I know that, and that's my criticism of him, but in terms of his ideology and the things that they say that they value, this ain't even that. It's like, I understand, I wouldn't expect you to be on board with progressive policies. But all of this shit it's not conservative. It's not liberal. It is Donald Trump. And
go ahead, Jen.
No, I was just going to say, we're well beyond the bounds of what normal conservatism was, or the conservative party was. Like, at what point are y'all going to say, like, as you put, enough is enough? Like, cut the shit.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a common saying that if you don't stand...
hijacked the whole party.
If you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything. And honestly,
that's what
they literally have built their entire, like, political careers.
But what does it take for it to
not
implode?
really standing for anything?
I think I know.
But making it seem like they might stand for certain things in certain places, which literally, they blow over quicker than goddamn hurricanes.
Yeah, they do.
Is what I'm saying. I don't think most of them really consider, like, standing a ground that has any kind of dedication, moral compass, just any of those things that you would think that would encompass somebody's, like, literal being a good person and standing for these causes. That's never the case. And the irony is that as a person who is an Afro-Cuban American, it really disturbs me to see these two people who, when you think about Cuban Americans and where they are in politics, Ted Cruz is a descendant of one.
All of them.
And Marco Rubio. And the irony is that both of them have such little morals that they even lied about the origins of their families coming in this country to gin up their aggression, to placate their
real immigrant, or for, like, the bad immigrants.
Right. Well, my thing is that I'm pretty sure it was Ted Cruz who was like, you know, my father came here escaping communism, and he was getting interviewed, and they were like, well, your father...
No, that was both of them. I think Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz.
Well, I know Marco Rubio's family, for sure, came here before there was ever a conflict, and he tried to lie and say that they came here as refugees from that conflict, which wasn't true. But I think the one that... I mean, they both did, but Ted Cruz, I think he was saying, like, yeah, you know, my father got hemmed up and, like, being a political prisoner for fighting against communism. But your father didn't get hemmed up fighting against communism. He got hemmed up because he was a communist sympathizer who got locked up by Batista, who was put in place by Americans, who was taking a lot of the stuff out of the country in terms of, like, wealth and just allowing a lot of American companies to come in and extract wealth. Yeah. And he was implemented in there as, like, a Cuban dictator, which Fidel overthrew. And the irony was, like, after his father got tortured by Batista for fighting for communist causes there before he defected and left. And I was like, it sounds really misleading for you to be like, I'm anti-communist. The Cubans tortured my father, but the people that tortured their father were actually capitalists. And he fought for the communists. And now he made it somewhere where his life is no longer in danger, and you out here literally backflipping and pussy popping for everything you can get to try to appeal to whites.
Ugh, it's disgusting.
And it's very disgusting. And it's the same way that most Asians were classified as whites when they got here, and even Mexicans. It wasn't until they were like, "Ooh, y'all really don't vote for what we vote for.
Right?
You can't be part of this problem." And as a matter of fact, we need to get rid of y'all.
Right. That is just unfortunate. Okay, so Paramount in their lawsuit with Donald Trump recently settled a couple weeks ago with Trump. Paramount is the
parent company
for CBS and a whole bunch of others. So
they are getting it this week.
So Paramount was sued by Donald Trump a couple months ago for a CBS 60 Minutes episode that was aired that was disfavorable to Trump, and like Trump just tries to sue everybody. That's always been his MO, like just sue. So Trump sued Paramount, the parent company for CBS. Paramount, instead of fighting the lawsuit on the merits, which they had in their favor,
and recognized as weak. They recognized them as weak things that they could have beat.
They definitely could have that. But they settled for, $16 million because Paramount is in talks to merge with a company called Skydance, which is owned by a friend of Trump, ironically, because all of this shit is related. Ellison is the name. It's a daddy and a son. Their last name is Ellison. I can't remember which is who. But they own Skydance. Paramount wants to merge with Skydance. It's like a $1 billion merger that they want to go through, and all mergers have to be approved by the federal government, which means the Trump administration. The settlement of $16 million is seen as a means to buy favor to allow offering. Yes, to a peace offering to allow the merger to go through.
Oh yeah.
In the crosshairs came one of my personal favorite comedians and satirists and just political genius mind, Stephen Colbert, who I have been watching since college. The highest grossing late night show on air currently. He hosts the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, a franchise that has been in place on CBS for over 30 years, previously hosted by David Letterman. Not John Letterman.
Not by Stephen Colbert.
Letterman. Yeah.
That's the problem. The Late Show has been in place for over 30 plus years.
Yes.
And it is a staple.
It is, but apparently CBS does not feel the same way, because not only did they tell Stephen Colbert that your time with us has now expired, come probably what means that your current contract is up in May, because
of
we're
2026
not going to be out more money than we are currently out now. So Stephen Colbert will no longer be the host of the Late Show come May 2026, which
can't
is
wait to see
a little less than a year from now. But not only that, the entire Late Show franchise is ceasing
to exist on their network.
And they're citing it's a financial decision because late night television is not doing as well as it had done previously, given like everything else that people are consuming, from streaming television to just like all types of social media. Like a lot of people get their get entertainment from other outlets. We get it. Yes, you can say the same thing about primetime TV. Nobody watches TV shows from 8 to 11 o'clock on the big four TV stations. They watch that shit probably on the DVR or on whatever streaming service it comes on. It's like, to say that it's a financial decision, it's kind of like
cop-out.
It is a cop-out. It's a slap in the face. Like
a bunch of BS.
Really think that
considering he's the highest grossing, I think, person.
His show brings in a ton of money since he became the host in, I think it was 2015. His show brings in the most viewership of any late night show, and he is in the same time slot as Jimmy Fallon. And yes, I think it is understood that late night television is seeing a decline because people are not watching those channels, or just cable TV, or just broadcast TV in general at that time.
Yeah,
they're watching other shit. But that's not to say that they're not watching Colbert's content on a different outlet.
Yeah, I will say this, though. What we have realized is that what we learned from the amount of money that CBS and Paramount was losing from all different types of things, that they've lost more money from Paramount Plus than they would have ever lost from this show. So, the reason why I say save your money is because Paramount has also agreed to like many a ridiculous concession in regards to this settlement, including adding, I think, was it $20 billion?
So they're providing him,
of free ads, which literally means that all the stuff that I see on my YouTube TV that makes zero sense will now be Tubi. I don't watch Tubi, so I can't speak on that. But
sometimes it's free to watch them.
Yeah, you know what? I realized that Tubi is also owned by Rupert Murdoch. Tubi reminds me a lot of like Fox Network when it first started. It was owned by Rupert Murdoch. They put on a lot of programming featuring people of color to get people of color to tune in. Once they got those viewerships and all those people tuning in, they then used that money to fund shit like Fox News, which is extremely racist and absolutely abhorrent. And I think that's the same thing that they also did with some of their major other news networks. I really wonder how Rupert's doing this week or last week, considering that with all the things that have been happening in the world. I think Trump went and met with him last week. And then...
Well, what about?
Well, Rupert not only owns Fox News, but he also owns Wall Street Journal, which released the first
not that Wall Street Journal.
Yes, the extra conservative Wall Street Journal. The same Wall Street Journal that produced that.
I don't believe you. It's not the same one. It can't be the same one.
It is. And that's why Trump met with Rupert Murdoch last week, I believed, in a documented meeting, and then nothing came out since then. So we'll see how this goes.
Meanwhile, in Congress, it's almost August recess, a time where lawmakers go back to their home districts, take vacations. But
who needs to wait for August recess when you can leave?
Johnson has decided, well, there's no more business on the Hill that we can take up right now. We might as well just all go on vacation. So that is what he did, and decided that instead of having Congress vote to release the Epstein files, we might as well just go home. And Speaker Johnson, maybe like a week ago, was appearing to stand on some kind of business and say, you know what?
You ain't got no business.
The people deserve to see what's in those files. So, maybe just release them because it could only help us, right? Mm-hmm. Wrong. Instead of continuing with the people's business for 2 additional weeks, Speaker Johnson is also bending a knee to Trump.
Yeah, unfortunately, we know why nothing will get passed, because we are now all caught up in the Epstein what's the word, like turmoil of the situation.
Kerfuffle.
Like the Epstein turbine of the situation, the kerfuffle. That's where we are. Literally, everything that has anything tied to Epstein, they're like, no, we're trying to deflect. And literally dragging up things that have nothing to do with anything in response to that, including trying to say, like, Hillary Clinton, Obama, and all these people are responsible for treason, which is laughable, especially considering that this person tried to literally foment an insurrection. Outside of that, there are so many things that make this laughable, i.e., who the hell is Epstein? How we got here, what the hell they all have figured out, and why we're so far beyond what people have already known, what things have already been put in the public for people to be able to consume. So,
facts.
And by people who were actually like factual and had been checked and had actually like done their due diligence with reporting, as opposed to just saying opinions.
Speaking of who Epstein is, we've heard a lot about the Jeffrey Epstein name. A lot of people know he's some rich guy from New York, which, yes, is true. He's from Brooklyn, New York. He grew up in like the Coney Island area, Brooklyn, New York. He's a true New Yorker. I guess that's why Donald Trump fucks with him like that. But he came from humble beginnings. His parents were, I think, a civil servant, and just they had a very low-key type of household. He went to NYU. He didn't graduate. Like other people who go on to make millions without a college degree. I just can't. I don't understand it. It's like, why did I waste so much money? Anyway.
I should have been one of the rich people.
That is a digression. Because what really started him on the track to become the wealthy individual that he was at the time of his death. After he left NYU, he went on to work at a school, the Dalton School in New York City. It was a private school that wealthy people sent their kids. And he was a teacher there.
And not to mention Bill Barr's daddy was the headmaster at the time. But go ahead, Sue.
Well, who is Bill Barr? Well, Bill Barr was one of Trump's attorney generals. It wasn't the first one because that was Jeffrey Beauregard Sessions.
He had so many, I lost count.
Yeah, he just had a few. Bill Barr was one of the main ones during his first presidency. His father, Donald Barr, was the headmaster of the Dalton School when Epstein was a teacher there. Essentially, he hired Epstein to be a teacher, although he did not have a college degree.
Imagine hiring somebody to be a teacher, and the next thing you know, they're getting way too handsy with students, way too friendly with students and parents that are there.
Well, imagine that, because that's exactly what happened.
Exactly my point.
And that's where it's documented that he had an affection for like younger girls, whatever. Okay, so a lot of older men do. It's disgusting, but not out of the norm. Anyway, moving along.
In this society.
Not out of the norm in this society. So all that to say, that was him at this school in New York. And he met a lot of the students' parents and built a rapport with a lot of the parents, ended up working at Bear Stearns. If that name sounds familiar, it is a financial institution that went under in the 2008 recession, one of the main financial banks that went under. He started as a financial analyst there and worked his way up. Eventually went on to be a financial manager and started his own consulting firm where he really just rubbed elbows with a lot of wealthy people and built relationships with wealthy people. Not necessarily at first starting out having a lot of wealth himself, but built that wealth based on his charisma and the way that he was able to do the business. He started out in his first consulting firm by being kind of like a wealthy bounty hunter. He went out and got money that was taken from wealthy individuals from banks and fraudulent actors.
He's like the Robin Hood of...
he was like the rich guy's Robin Hood. You don't go into a business like that without having connections. How can I get this person's money back? Because they're going to give me a back end on the money that I get back. Mm-hmm. What do I need to do to coerce the person, like the entity that has the money, to hand it over, to give it back to the people who they took it from, essentially? And so that is how he started out. He went on and started his own financial management firm that rose to have assets of over $1 billion with only one known client.
Oh, Lex Wexner?
Yes, that one known client. Who is Les Wexner? I always want to call him Lex Lexner, like Lex Luthor, but
because he's not
that cool. He's just the CEO of, or the former
limited companies.
Yes, he's
limited companies did. Is he still alive? Because I couldn't remember.
He's still alive. He's like 80.
I mean, he's so old. I thought he might have passed.
No, he's alive.
On to see the
alive
Lord.
Well, I guess.
Yeah, but
I don't know how you have that much money and be in poor health. I would just don't understand. But hopefully,
because the good Lord didn't see fit to let you go.
Exactly.
But what I will say is that the irony is that at this time, Lex Wexner was the CEO of L Brands. And L Brands was short for Limited, which I think all of us who were born before 1990 probably remember the Limited. My mom had a credit card for the Limited.
And also Bath
and
Body Works.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that before there was a Bath and Body Works and before there was a Victoria's Secret that I really remember knowing about, I think I remember getting the Victoria's Secret catalog within a couple of years after that. But when my mom was paying off her credit card at the Limited, I might have been like 4 or 5.
Yes.
So the interesting thing about Lex Wexner is that he actually brought Epstein in as like his protege while he was the head of L Brands. And L Brands encompassed not only the Limited, but it also encompassed Bath and Body Works as well as Victoria's Secret. So the irony is during the time where all of these things were really hitting the fan, we now have Jeffrey Epstein, who's the second-hand man of somebody who's in charge of Victoria's Secret, who was recruiting a lot of models. And then you also, at the same time, had Trump, who was running Miss Teen USA, which you could have ran any Miss USA or Miss America without children in it, but he ran them with children. And that's how they recruited a lot of models. And one of the models said to have been introduced to Trump through Epstein was his now wife, Melania.
Yep, because there's a whole picture of them. Melania's looking like 20 years younger, so you know it's not from like yesterday. There's a whole picture of them together. And Trump even said as much, like it's on record, camera, whatever you want to call it, of saying, Jeffrey Epstein loves young girls as much as I do, or something like that.
Almost as much as I do.
Yeah,
we both
something
love
like
women.
that.
We
So
both love young girls.
Yeah, we know they were kind of on the same bandwidth in terms of their
proclivities.
Thank you. With the big words.
Jeffrey's proclivities didn't just stay in the bubble of Florida. It actually got a little bigger. By 2005, Palm Beach, Florida police began investigating claim of a 14-year-old's father that Epstein assaulted her. And then federal investigations ensued, identifying at least 36 victims. Some victims of which had actually went on the record to say that not only was it Epstein, it was also our current commander-in-chief. One woman who specifically claimed that actually ended up passing away. After that investigation, what happened, Sue?
So in 2005, Jeffrey Epstein was indicted for child prostitution. The federal district attorney in Florida, Alex Acosta, essentially made a deal with Epstein, allowing him to plead to minor charges of prostitution and allow him to serve. He essentially served 13 months in prison, quote unquote, in Palm Beach. And the prison that he served in was a very cushy prisons. He literally was allowed to leave for the day and go to work and then come back to prison. And then after he finished his 13-month sentence, he was on probation for a year, and he was allowed to fly on his private jet, go to his private island. When he got indicted in 2005, he had amassed a good amount of wealth and a good amount of connections since his days working on Wall Street and working as a financier for the most part. That wasn't a 9-to-5 for him at this point. He was essentially among the individuals whose portfolios he once managed. So just be a prisoner at this point was laughable for him. And Alex Acosta is on the record as saying that people in the federal government, the DOJ, were like, this is way above your head. You need to end this situation with Epstein now in the best way possible, essentially. So he made the sweetheart deal to Epstein to serve a minor sentence for charges that were pretty serious. And he was in and out in a little over a year and went back literally to doing exactly what he had been doing before, which is entertaining wealthy and powerful individuals from around the world. Not only just in the United States. After he got out of jail in Florida, is when Prince Andrew over in Europe.
Oh, that's when he got in trouble.
Got involved, and he was seen coming out of Epstein's New York City home where he had cameras. He's known to have cameras like literally everywhere. Cameras outside, cameras inside, hidden cameras. And so that's what really lends to like the claims that his whole business was gaining blackmail material.
Yeah, extortion. Material.
Possibly for foreign actors. So Epstein gets out of jail circa 2009, goes back to his dealings. Fast forward a decade almost. Julie K. Brown, who is a reporter at the Miami Herald, writes a story of years of investigation into Epstein's dealings and to why he got such a good deal in Florida based on what he was accused of. And that was in 2018. In November of 2018. Who happens to be president in 2018? Donald Trump. But he didn't see that coming when he got elected in 2016 and then nominated Alex Acosta as his labor secretary shortly thereafter. So all of these people who have been involved in the Florida dealings with Jeffrey Epstein are now in the White House. Mm-hmm. Julie K. Brown, like her name is not said enough because like literally she's the only reason why people know
about any of this.
About Epstein's name specifically. Because she wrote that the story was entitled as a whole investigative piece, perversion of justice. After that came out, the FBI NYPD Crimes Against Children Task Force arrested Jeffrey Epstein based on the allegations of the reporting and their own investigations that had been happening since then. Came out and arrested Jeffrey Epstein in July of 2019. Epstein was arrested for sex trafficking on July 6th. On August 10th, 2019, a little over a month later, after being held in a federal prison in New York City, committed suicide, quote unquote, in his cell. And that is where the Jeffrey Epstein life story ends. Since then, we have had a onslaught of promises, I guess we can say, from the current president about unsealing said investigative reports of Jeffrey Epstein. His co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, was convicted in 2022. She's currently serving a 20-year sentence. She is appealing said sentence, which is the evidence apparently is there, but it's also sealed. And people ask, like, why didn't Biden release the Epstein files when he was in office? Those files were not unsealed because of the Ghislaine Maxwell trial until January of this year.
I thought it was like December last year, January
of this year. So they were within the DOJ's purview to make public if they so chose.
Now.
And what's also really interesting about that, too, is something that happened recently with Ghislaine Maxwell's appeal. Trump promised, after so much like prodding of release the files, he said, we'll release all of the grand jury files, knowing that like that was obviously a line that the Justice Department gave him, because you say that meaning, we're going to release all the files that the judge allows us to. And Pam Bondi was like, yeah, we're going to petition the court to release all the files. So essentially passing the buck to the judge to release the files and making it look like it was his responsibility. The judge said, no, fuck no. Ghislaine Maxwell's appeal is still
actively being pursued.
Right. So, and if we were to release any of the files, redacted or not, that would give her more reason to have to argue like a mistrial or a miscarriage of justice in her appeal case. As long as litigation is in progress, none of the shit comes out. That's why we have it. Like, we just got the MLK files released. That was because the FBI
didn't want you asking about Epstein, so it was like, let me get you these little tidbits of MLK.
Right.
Let me get these little. And ironically enough, what I have seen since they've released those, and the few people that have like looked through them and read them, is that it's backfiring. That now people are seeing that MLK was planning like a massive boycott for all major American industries.
Yeah. Well, anybody was paying attention.
Well, people who paid attention to Poor People's Campaign and the March on Washington could have seen this coming, but people who thought the March on Washington was not about poor people over all types of demographics, but it was instead about like poor Black people. You probably missed the message that was happening.
Exactly.
And I think also that combined with the rhetoric that had not been as calm, but had been kind of turned up closer to his death, is really where this has landed them. And unfortunately for them, they did not abide by the wishes of the family who wished that this didn't get put out. And now they're putting things out, and now people are starting to actually read through those things and like, hold up, wait.
That's not what you told us.
Or just hold up, wait. Now we're outside of even what you told us, that this is more. This is something that may not have come up on any radar, but it makes perfect sense. And I think, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, they may have kind of shined the light on some things that they didn't intend to.
Because they're ignorant.
Because they're trying to just distract people with other things. Whereas, literally, if they just would have revealed the files from Epstein that they planned to reveal for years and years and years and years, and now that their base is really on it, and all of a sudden it's like, nah. But, I mean, we've heard a lot of things. We've heard that Trump's name is in it. It was mentioned to him in May that it was in it.
Well,
it's been mentioned, but what I'm saying is that
what I'm saying.
we assume that we had a feeling, but we kind of do. But now outside of us knowing, outside of other people knowing, they said that they told him in May.
Yeah, the DOJ
and
which
that
should
was
have
even
been of no surprise.
What I'm saying, that was even after they said that they had binders or whatever and first levels of facts. We get to after that. They look through it. They realize his name not only is in it, but it has appeared so much that it is like a red flag. Fast forward, now people are starting to get impatient. And then you have people on the MAGA base that's like, we need to know what's happening. We need to know what's happening. We need to know what's happening. We need transparency. He's telling people to be like, nah, it's some other stuff to pay attention to. You know, Obama was a treasonous. Like, and it's just,
Look over here.
It's so much stuff happening, but
Obama and his beautiful ankles.
That's why he posted that bullshit AI video.
That made me mad.
Here's the irony about posting that bullshit AI video is that that's one of the few videos that Obama's team actually responded to.
Yep.
And then I don't know if this is factual or not, because I saw something that was a post like the day after they responded that was like, outside of Obama responded. He posted a video and they included a caption. I was like, this read might seem a little AI-ish. But the post that I saw said from Obama, I'm not really into AI. I was trying to think about once I saw him arrested me, I thought about something to respond to, but that's not really my thing. So I just figured I'd repost this video of him actually getting arrested for some actual crimes he committed.
Right.
And so I don't know if I don't know if that's legitimate or not.
I love
it. If that's a burner account, keep it up. Also,
I hope so.
Gavin Newsom's account, I don't know how much they're paying you. Sis, you need a raise.
Yes.
Sir, you need a raise.
Yes.
Y'all been killing it.
Yeah. I appreciate all of that content.
But also what I realized is that when they were talking about the suicide attempt in 2019, the irony is that Trump was Epstein's best friend and vice versa. And he only got arrested during Trump's first
who
thing.
was president in 2019?
Yeah, and
August of 29. Who controlled the
he was
DOJ?
I just want to
or the FBI?
He didn't control them, but he was influencing them.
He was
unlike none other. What I'm saying is that normally the DOJ is separate from the executive branch.
Bill Barr was Attorney General.
What I'm saying is his first term was the first time we've ever seen this amount of conflation between two independent or supposedly independent branches of government. This is the first time we've seen the president have this much control over DOJ and what will happen. And that's what we saw.
Yes.
Ironically enough, as that being his best friend, when Epstein was running Victoria's Secret and he was running Miss Teen USA, and they was out here dancing at each other's wedding and partying up at all the parties, no matter how they want to make us think that didn't happen, it happened. And that is also weird behavior. And part of what we learned in recent documents that came out was that they both used modeling and underage girls in modeling
as their filter.
Well, just as their inventory of the shit that they like to do.
Yeah.
No matter how
to
young.
Recruit.
Gross.
But that's what I'm saying. So they've been doing that. So
we don't know.
Themselves, others, who knows?
No, I mean, for all intents and purposes, I think that Jeffrey Epstein in this situation was very much the mastermind, because it's not just Donald Trump that is implicated in the files.
Several
there
others.
Are a lot of Democrats.
Implicate them all.
There are a lot of world leaders. There are a lot of influential people across the world. Not just in the United States.
That's fine.
That do not want that list to come out. Unfortunately, Bill Clinton is probably somewhere in those files.
Well, I think, honestly,
your commander
before we get there, do you think it's an accident or a coincidence?
No, I think that it is exactly how we got here. I think Trump sparked this entire conspiracy only to land at the monster coming back to haunt him.
Yeah, stupid.
And he's trying to deflect and delay at every possible moment, and MAGA is not having any parts of that.
I don't.
They've been down with the delay thus far.
Yeah, that's my thing. I don't understand what is MAGA?
Where was that line in the sand?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I was trying to figure it out too.
I was trying to figure it out. Is it their Christian values?
It can't
be. Their Christian values only tie to white supremacy.
Well, and that's the thing is that
what is MAGA going to do with this? What do we really think they're going to do with this? Seriously.
If we never see the files, but for some type of leak situation like what the Wall Street Journal is doing, I think that there will be a massive revolt within MAGA.
I don't think there's a line specifically in the sand. I think that line is forever moving.
Thank you.
I think the only hope that we have for a line in the sand is that their followers, i.e. why people are paying attention to the Epstein situation, is that they've lied so much about everything else, but they dug their heels so far in the sand about this unprovoked that now this is one of the few things that if they try to lie about, it might backfire. It may not. There's probably
I'm betting it won't.
I mean, I think it will backfire for a certain.
Than I do.
I think they're coming around.
I think it will backfire for a certain
what is it?
Group of people.
Where did the morals come from?
Well, I don't think
it's not about morals. It's about feeling like an idiot. I think this is the first time that they've really been shown up by.
I mean, they have before, but they've chosen to
not
ignore.
Like this.
I think now, coupled with possibly being wrong, somebody who led you to the water and guided you every bit of the way, but now like, why are you trying to drink all this water? Stupid. It might be contaminated. You're such a weakling. You're so dumb. I think that's going to backfire.
So what can we do now? Watch the fucking news, pay attention, and stay vigilant. Cheers.
That does not sound hopeful.
Since the political board, because we gonna need a drink for this.